Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In many sohbets, Shaykh Lokman Effendi tells us to think. What is the difference between thinking in the way Tarikat teaches us and doubting or being skeptical?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the beginning, when you have all sorts of questions, and you yourself, you don't know the level and the quality of those questions, whether they are good questions or not so good questions, or silly questions or stupid questions. In the beginning, you say it's okay, ask. Ask. But later, when you start to get better, then you start, oh, why am I asking? Before you ask, before you question, you're going to question yourself. Why am I asking? Am I just opening my mouth? Is it something I really need to know? And if it's something I really need to know, is this knowledge beneficial to me right now or not? Or is it just satisfying my curiosity? If I have that knowledge, if I have that answer, so what? What am I going to do with it? They say, oh, if you know how many, say, it must be because it's Jim's fault and Sean's fault that we are here today. I'm thinking of different examples coming up. For example, if you know how many angels there are dancing on the head of a pin, you know that, right? What is it going to do to you? Say you found the right answer. What does it do to you? Not much. Nothing. So now you start to question first yourself and asking yourself, is that something I really need to know or not? Once you start questioning yourself, then once you start questioning your inquiries and your questions, that time you will not make the mistake of just asking things just because you have doubt, or just because you want to satisfy curiosity, just because you're skeptical in something that is really important. You'll understand why you need to ask, and you ask the right questions. Shaykh Effendi is saying, think and reflect. Why is he saying that? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said so many places in the Quran, think. Don't you see in the alternation of the night and the day, these are signs for the men of understanding. These are signs for those who think. Think. Why don't you think? Allah has made us, has given us that intelligence to think that he has not given to the animals. If man uses that intelligence, he reaches to the level of angels. He may reach to the station of Jibreel alayhi salam because he uses intelligence. But beyond that, you have to put the intelligence aside. Now, a new way of thinking that you've never thought before has to be put into place. And if you still start to use your logic and your intelligence, that time is going to hold you back. Just like the airplane that is flying, it uses the wheels. After it takes off, you cannot use the wheels anymore. What are you going to think about? If Shaykh Effendi says to us, Allah is saying for us to think, what do we think about? Just anything that comes to our mind, that is something. Anything that we want to think, we think. You don't eat anything that you want to eat. How you can think anything that you want to think? You don't put something into your mouth, everything that is in front of you. Why you put in your mind things that should not be there? So, now, when Shaykh Effendi says for us to think in our way, tafakkur, meditation, Prophet ﷺ is saying, 1 hour of meditation is better than 70 years of worship. What are we meditating on? Ask very simple questions and look for very simple answers. We have been created to be servants to Allah. Then sit and think today, what did I do for the sake of my Lord? Simple question. Sincerely, clearly, honestly, what did I do for the sake of my Lord? Or did you forget Him? That's why in Islam, especially in Tasawwuf, in Sufism, we start our food by some prayers. Everyone is doing it. But what is better than that? Every mouthful, we say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Bismillah. Remembering Allah with every mouthful. Remembering Allah with every gesture. Remembering Him. Now, you start remembering. You start to make zikr. You don't need a zikr beat that time, the tasbih. Because your actions now, it becomes like a tasbih. Because now you're remembering Allah, you're remembering His Prophet, you're remembering our Shaykh. Shaykh Effendi says, I don't even open the doorknob without asking madad from my Shaykh. So, that time you are thinking. What are you thinking? You are thinking of your Lord, and you're thinking you always want to be in that association. And once you start doing that, all the other things that are doubtful, skeptical, which may be legitimate questions, but maybe it's not legitimate for that time. You can ask it later. It doesn't become important at that time. Not everything is important. Not everything is important. So, sit down and think. Ask yourself very simple questions. What did I do today for the sake of Allah? Did I do? What word did I say? Who did I say this to? Why did I say? So many people, they just open their mouth and they say whatever they want. They don't care whether words that comes out from their mouth is going to destroy a person or not. Because they feel like saying. These days they don't say, they text each other. And destroying each other, that's even worse, because at least when we speak, the sound goes away. In reality, it doesn't go away. It circles around the universes. But here, when you start texting, you have a proof. Even in the court of law, if you do something and there's no proof that you did it, you'll get away with it. In the Akhirat, Allah works sometimes that way too. He can cover it because there is no proof. But if there is proof, it's finished now. Why are you making people to be witnesses? Why are you making others to be witness of the wrong things that you have done? The right things we have done in Islam, they say, don't make people to be witness. Because it will become something that is arrogant, that you are doing for arrogance, to show off. It's forbidden in Islam to do something good and to show off. Prophet saying what the right hand does, the left hand must not know. Then it becomes not for Allah, but to show off for other people. It becomes a hidden shirk. You're pleasing other people instead of pleasing your Lord. No. They do something bad, they make the whole world to be witness. If you cannot control that, you can destroy it in a flash. You know, you build something, sometimes it takes years. Hundreds of years to build. Strike one match, you can burn it down. In a matter of minutes, everything can be burned down. Anger does that. It's in you, it's in me, it's in everyone. If you cannot learn to control that anger, it's going to burn you. There is no fire in hell. You bring your own fire to hell. Don't blame hell. You bring your own fire to hell. So now, learn to get rid of that hellish characteristics that you have. Be Ahli Jannat, the ones from paradise here. Don't be Ahli Jahannam, don't have hellish characteristics, people from hell, get rid of those characteristics. Then that time, believe me, you'll start experiencing paradise here on earth. It doesn't matter now where you are. You can be in the middle of a fire. You will still experience paradise because it is there. But for those who try to make paradise all around, but they have hell inside, they can be in the center of paradise, it'll turn to hell. So, inshallah, this is what we need to do. This is what Tarikat, Sufism, especially in this Nakshibendi order, because it changes. It needs to change. The most difficult thing to change, people, right? People's hearts. Who are assigned to change people's hearts? Allah, of course, is the one who turns the hearts. But who did He assign to do this job to turn hearts? The prophets, not anyone else. Prophets. The highest job is given to the prophets. Who are the saints? The saints are those ones who continue the work of the prophets. To turn man from low-level characteristic, animal characteristics, into the characteristics that is coming from Allah. But it takes work. Inshallah Rahman, may we have the strength and the faith to continue this way. We are not saying we are something, we are very weak ones. You and me, we are the same. We are very dirty ones, but we are asking for the sake of those ones that Allah has loved. Allah still loves our Shaykh. Then maybe because of them, because of their intercession, we will be with them, this world and the next, inshallah.